Hi guys. Okay, I'm back again with Oscar the Wonder Cat and the Pillsbury Dough Muffin. The Pillsbury Doughboy. I don't know. Oh my god, it's so funny because I'm looking at how he looks through the viewfinder versus how the Pillsbury Doughboy looks on Oscar's back. And in real life, he looks rather svelte. But when I look through the when I look through the viewfinder, he looks so fat. The Pillsbury Doughboy looks chubby, like really chubby. And Oscar's belly just looks so big, but it always does. And so does his butt. Anyway, so this is sort of a continuation from my video that I posted the other day when I talked about epoxy jack and cat vomit and stuff like that. So this is the vestigial aftermath of that video and its topics. All of which I still cannot find on the internet. So, well, especially the epoxy jack thing. So if you want to know what epoxy jack is, he looks very, very, very much like the Pillsbury Doughboy, or Pillsy, as I call him. Pillsy, and has gained 20 pounds on camera. Oh, that makes me feel better about myself and my fatty round pictures on camera. And so you just have to go back to the video from the day before to get your education. In the meantime, I wanted to address some other things. And of course, if you guys have any comments that you want to leave down below, that's awesome about any of your observations. So I had a couple of other things that I remember from childhood that are no longer around. And the first one is actually really, really weird. And I don't even think I've ever talked about this with anyone. I mean, not that it's scandalous, okay, but it's just weird. So I remember when I was a kid, my mom and I would go out. Well, of course we'd go out. What are we, hermits? No. But whenever my mom and I would go out and my mom said it's going to snow, I always remember when it snowed, it wasn't like flakes coming down from... I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this works. It wasn't flakes coming down from the sky. It was like balls. It was snowballs coming down from the sky. It was like big balls of snow. The kind of snowballs that your bratty next door neighbor would make to throw at you. They were these... I don't know why I have this memory of snowballs falling down and my mom walking into Dunkin' Donuts and me walking behind her and my mom saying, "Oh yeah, it's snowing now." And I'm like, I can see. And I remember looking up at the sky and there are all these snowballs falling down. But I don't know why I remember that. And we weren't scared. Like, I would look up at the sky with reckless abandon and I was not worried about one pelting me in the face. And my mom had on one of those stupid hats with a pom-pom on it and a tassel, and she wasn't scared. But I would think that would hurt. In this universe, if we had snowballs falling on our heads, that would hurt. Especially like the trajectory, and just how, if you think of like how if somebody drops a penny or a quarter or any kind of coinage from a high from like a high vantage point. I mean, what would a snowball do if it like fell on your head? It would go right through you and onto the ground. So anyway, anyway, in the universe that I grew up in, for at least the years through my preschool studies, snowballs were falling from the sky. And so, but whenever they would say we're gonna have snow flurries, I would think, oh, the snow flurries are the small ones. Like, that's honestly what I said. Oh, the snow flurries are the small ones. That means it's not going to be real snow. It's just going to be the teeny tiny, like, little flecks. For the first few years of my life, this is what I thought. I don't know how I would have gotten that delusion. I don't know how I would remember my mom walking into Dunkin' Donuts with snowballs falling on her head, but whatever. We were very resilient in that universe. We had very hard heads and very big balls of snow. Okay, so that's the first weird memory I'm going to tell you of. And again, I don't know if it's a Mandela effect, but that's what we would call it. That's what I would call it in my reality. That's Mandela affected from my childhood. Sometimes I think I grew up in a very weird world in my childhood. Let's just put it that way, because we had epoxy jacks, we had cats vomiting, like they were coughing, and it was all just weird. If you want to know what that is, see my previous video. Okay, so the next thing is... Oh my God, I just burped. I hope you guys didn't hear that. So the next thing is the word anyway. Like, I've been looking, well, it's just been weird because I've been texting people, and on my spell checker, anytime I put anyway, like as in anyhow, it always wants to separate the words any and way. And of course that's correct. I mean, you can say, "Oh, go you can go there any way you want." So yes, two separate words for anyway is correct, but I never remember up until maybe a few months ago, maybe even just the beginning of this month, my spell checker wants to always constantly correct my word when I want to say anyway, like you can go there. Well, no, okay, that's a bad example. But I was going to do that anyway. It always wants to parse it out into two words. And I mean, I suppose it's not that odd, but it is odd to me because I don't remember my spell checker wanting to do this. And plus, I love the word anyway, the word together. Because do you ever remember, it's about my mom again, my mom and food. Do you ever remember like going out with your mom or sitting around the dinner table and your mom having nothing to say? And then she just goes, anyway. That was my mom. That was always what she did. And it was funny because a stand-up comedian did have a stand-up routine about that. Like how women, when they when nothing's going on in the conversation, they're like, anyway. So that was my mom. So there was that. And there was another weird thing. I mean, I feel stupid bringing this up without a picture. I can get a picture later, but okay, so it was weird. So I don't know if you guys remember the show My Three Sons. Anyway, I interviewed the guy who played the middle, well, no, he was the youngest brother, Chip, and then he ended up being the middle brother when Ernie came along. And I always thought it was so funny because Ernie joined the family as the adopted brother, but Ernie was the actor who played Chip's real brother in real life, and they did not look anything alike. So the actor who played Chip's name is Stan Livingston, and he'll sometimes, oh, but anyway, I interviewed him for 2 hours like a few years ago. I did this big sit-down interview with him, and it was really, really cool. As a matter of fact, he was one of my favorite interviews because the whole time I was interviewing him, especially when he was talking about William Frawley, who played Bub. No, it's Bub. Yeah, no, because the second one was Uncle Charlie. So he played Bub, and the whole time he was talking about him especially, I was seeing everything in black and white. I was seeing just all this old Hollywood stuff in black and white. It was so crazy cool. But anyway, it was a really cool interview. There I go. Anyway, it was a really cool interview. So ever since I interviewed him, he does this thing where every major holiday he'll send an email or a text or whatnot. So for St. Patrick's Day, he sent me this picture of Fred McMurray, of course, and him and his other two older brothers, Don Grady and Tim Considine. Tim Considine was the oldest brother. I think that was Mike. And then there was this miniature leprechaun of Bub, like hanging off Fred McMurray's arm or something like that. And of course it was all in black and white. But it was so crazy because Tim Considine looked totally different. Like Tim Considine was so cute as Mike. But this picture, he had this weird beaky look to his nose. And I suppose he could have gotten plastic surgery, but you'd think they would have taken care of that, you know, before the show aired. But it was really weird. And plus, I always used to watch reruns of My Three Sons when they had it on Nick at Night when I was a teenager. And so it just looked so weird because it did look like Tim Considine, but not like Tim Considine. But it looked like Tim Considine slightly tweaked in a parallel universe. So that was really strange. But yeah, I mean, there's just been a lot of things that I've seen lately that have been off. It's either things that I've seen lately that have been slightly 2 degrees left of center off, or just things that, just these weird memories from my childhood, not of anything involving people, just weird things that used to be around and they're not around anymore. I don't get it. Anyway, that's about it. I'm going to sign off for now, but if you guys know what I'm talking about, or if you remember big snowballs falling from the sky when you were kids, when you were walking into Dunkin' Donuts with your mom and she wasn't scared of getting hit by one, then you let me know. And I think it's apropos that I'm saying it on the first day of spring, and the East Coast is getting snowed out as we speak. And it's raining here in Southern California, which is way cool. But anyway, I just wanted to touch on those things, and I hope you guys are awesome, and I will be back for more Mandela fun. Okay, bye.